Good to have you with us again, the 5th day of September. Well, it's on the downhill side already. And the beautiful weather, though, is not. We're still looking at some continued gorgeous temperatures and conditions. Humidity levels basically irrelevant. Temperatures nice and comfortable and a lot of sunshine. We'll slowly start to build a chance of some showers, maybe a few thunderstorms or two, starting around the 1st of next week. But it will be a slow process and really no significant rainfall, maybe even until Thursday or Friday, if then, but a chance thereof. Not for the rest of this week, which there's only one day left, or your weekend, which still looks gorgeous. I'll be glad to update yet again your Licking Valley RECC forecast in just a few moments. Headlines instead of lights on tonight's program. We'll include some highlights. This is where I was going to from football this past Friday night. Some scores and reminders about who's playing who and where tomorrow night as we get into week 2 for most everyone in high school football. Also, another bus crash. We reported one to you yesterday. Yesterday in a neighboring county that I've just now received some information on. Also some other details on some burglaries from the Johnson County Sheriff's Department and some court cases today of great significance in the McGoffin County Justice Center. In 2 particular cases, 2 of which several will focus on tonight, included a special prosecutor which indicates that he is preparing to dismiss charges of murder of a police officer against the McGoffin County man jailed for killing his stepfather. And also Miles Holbrook, the public defender with said office, was seeking a bond reduction today in a hearing in light of what he referred to as new evidence against a man who is charged with murder of another McGoffin County man. And there were some other court cases of importance that we'll report on as well. I'm also expecting the grand jury to return indictments at any time here in McGoffin County. We may have those before week's end. We'll get to all of that in just a second. In other court cases, though, in other parts of our state, I can tell you that facing a 5-count indictment and a trial which was set to begin in the latter part of October on federal charges of misusing state funds for his own personal benefit and for a political agenda, former Agriculture Commissioner Richie Farmer today has agreed to a plea deal, and he's planning on entering a guilty plea to 2 charges of misuse of state resources, and as a result, that means he could serve about 2 years in federal prison. And with federal and state prosecutors agreeing to the deal, it might give him anywhere from 21 to 27 months behind bars if the court and the Ethics Commission go along with said plea agreement. He also has to pay restitution and a fine totaling some $125,000. There will be an additional 1-year sentence to run concurrent with that 21 to 27 month sentence that he is also facing. Farmer's also faced with a 42-count charge brought by the Executive Branch Ethics Commission, and that, as we told you when it was first levied against him, was the most ever against one individual in the state of Kentucky. U.S. Attorney Kerry B. Harvey has already issued a statement in light of this proposed plea agreement. It says that, quote, while various factors may influence any defendant's decision to plead guilty, there is a common thread that motivates every guilty plea. Defendants plead guilty because they are guilty, and they understand that the prosecution is prepared to prove their guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. And in Clay County, 3 Clay County residents pleaded guilty today in the widespread vote-buying conspiracy case. We know that the retrial in the case set for next month now involves the remaining 5 charged, those being former Circuit Judge Cletus Miracle, former School Superintendent of Clay County Douglas Adams, former County Court Clerk Freddie Thompson, Charles Wayne Jones, a former election commissioner, as well as an election officer identified as William Stivers. But as a result of a guilty plea today, the Morrises, Deborah and Bart, and a former magistrate, Stanley Bowling, will now receive new sentences per their plea deal. They will be significantly shorter than the ones they received after the original trial back in 2010. So far, everyone in the case has served 3.5 years before being released last month after a judge in the appeals court ruled that the first judge erred on a couple of different fronts. As a result of the pleas, the comparisons are significant. Bart Morris, originally sentenced to 20 years in 2010, has seen his now cut to a 5.5-year sentence with the new plea deal, which we believe will be accepted by the courts. His wife was sentenced to 10 years and will remain free with given time served as a result of the plea agreement. As for bowling, an original 15-year sentence will be reduced to 5.5 years per their plea agreements. From the desk of Johnson County Sheriff Dwayne Price, it says his office is currently investigating a string of burglaries that have happened in the Hager Hill area of Johnson County. They've happened at Ben's Tires, the Big Sandy Community and Technical College, Hager Hill Campus, Apple Valley Sanitation, Christian Appalachian Project, and Martin's Peterbilt of Paintsville. Apple Valley Christian Appalachian Project and Big Sandy and Community Technical College all have video of the suspects in action. That video has been sent to the state for further examination and analysis and is expected to sharpen some images which were a little too fuzzy to declare accurate. However, they expect that those images will be able to be sharpened, and once received, they'll have a better idea as to who is shown on images from all three of those businesses in particular. While they are waiting, the sheriff says that anyone with any information in this case can call his department and office at 789-3411. They need your information, not your name. He says callers can, as always, remain anonymous. Well, just last evening, I was reporting to you about a school bus accident that happened here in McGoffin County day before yesterday. I've learned, per Johnson County Sheriff Dwayne Price, that a school bus accident took place yesterday in his county. This time, though, unlike the McGoffin County accident, which involved a bus with only the driver and no children on board, the accident in Johnson County had 13 children, I am told, on board at the time of the collision. Yesterday, the Sheriff's Department responded to a two-vehicle accident. It happened on Wiley Branch Road, that's Route 3224 in Johnson County, involving this school bus and a semi-truck. The truck, driven by 46-year-old Barry Hornbuckle of Tennessee, was traveling westbound on Route 3224 when his vehicle crossed the center line. As the school bus approached, the truck tried to avoid the bus but was unable to do so. The driver of the school bus, identified as 43-year-old Tracy Robinson of River, also tried to avoid the collision once the truck was seen crossing the center line and steered the bus to the right to avoid the truck, but was unable to get clear due to the guardrail on the westbound side of the roadway. You can see the damage there. Light to moderate in nature, if you will. You can also kind of see where that damage came from as you look at the other vehicle involved. The truck sideswiped the school bus, causing minor damage. The bus had 13 children on board. There were no reported injuries, though, at the time of the collision, which remains under investigation by Chief Deputy Kevin Pelfrey of the Johnson County Sheriff's Office. Also, I do realize that we're having some video difficulties. So far, I can't tell that it's affecting audio. It comes with my apologies. We'll try to iron it out before the end of the show. For now, a word from a few of our sponsors, and I'll be back with more headlines thereafter. 170s, 500, 570, 800, 900s, 2 seats, 4 seats, Razors, Rangers, and XPs in the hottest colors with the coolest accessories with the best financing available and rebates up to $1,000 at Connelly's, Kawasaki, and Polaris of Paintsville. In stock right now and available for order with other personalized touches, a variety of Maple City pottery, mixing bowls, preserve jars, utensil holders, dispensers, and so much more. You can create them any way you would like. Plus, Just Millie has just arrived in all these gorgeous styles with the accessories to go with them, and premium clay bead jewelry and other items at Sagersville's Fraser's Plate of Drug seasonal shop.
Hi, I'm Don McFarland. I want to be your family lawyer. If you've been injured on the job, if you're interested in getting your Social Security disability or SSI benefits, or if you've been injured because of someone else's negligence, or basically, if a car wreck has caused you to suffer pain, then pick up the phone and call Donald Wayne, 349-9000.
They just keep coming. New and incredible flavors of your favorite ice cream treat. And now they've done it again with the chocolate-covered cheesecake blizzard at your Sagersville Dairy Queen. Creamy cheesecake pieces, rich cocoa fudge, decadent choco chunks, and creamy vanilla soft serve make your new blizzard of the month. And if that's not enough, just for September, buy one blizzard, get another for just 99 cents. That's right, 99 cents at your Sagersville DQ. Before you call anyone else, call Asphalt Paving Company, APC, for a list of local and area paving jobs that they've done and still look great after 15 or 20 years, and for an estimate on your blacktopping project. Driveways, parking lots, residential or commercial. APC has a 10-year guarantee, decades of experience and a reputation for using the best materials to pave, resurface, seal, or stripe your property. APC 859-983-6433. Stop by to see how, with a guaranteed trade-in, you can drive off in this gorgeous 2011 Hyundai Sonata for $17,950 or $299 a month, or how to drive off with a little soul for $12,950 or $235 a month, or how to drive off with a lot of style in this Dodge Ram Daytona at $15,950, all at Premier Motors in Paintsville.
I was present in the McGoffin County Justice Center for a couple of court cases today. While there were several others that took place of significance. We will report on as many as time allows this evening. The two most significant, if you will, include the case of the Commonwealth versus Jonathan Watkins, who is still jailed on charges of murder of a police officer, that officer actually being his stepfather, Albert Bloomfield, who was gunned down by Watkins allegedly in his own home.
Judge Kim Childers allowed my camera in the courtroom today without audio as Watkins was led in shackles and his orange jumpsuit to appear for the hearing, still being held on a charge of murder of Bloomfield. It appears as though the case or charges against him as far as the criminal aspect may be going to be dismissed. That per statements of the special prosecutor in the case, who indicated that based on a recent report, the contents of which are not public at this time, he says indicate, quote, that the Commonwealth is ultimately going to be in the position that they cannot proceed with the case in a criminal aspect. They were not requesting a dismissal of those charges today, but indicated that that would be the next step, saying that his hands were tied in the matter. This, once again, being the criminal aspect. I asked individuals and prosecutors thereafter what that indicated. That would leave the state or the authorities to investigate a civil matter from thereafter. But based on a report and evaluation, we believe, of Watkins, it appears as though, per those statements and remarks by the special prosecutor, that they will be asking that the charge of murder criminally be dismissed against Watkins sometime in the near future. The other of the two cases that we'll focus on tonight is that of the Commonwealth versus Daniel Hackworth, who is accused of murdering Donnie Allen at Allen's residence just a short distance above the newsroom on East Maple Street or Route 40 on January the 7th, if I'm not mistaken, when Allen's death took place. Public Defender Miles Holbrook, who was handling the matter today in regards to Hackworth, made a motion for a bond reduction, still being held on a $500,000 cash bond. Holbrook argued today in court that the Commonwealth didn't actually have hard evidence as they had thought originally and may have jumped the gun in this case. He said that in light of new evidence, forensic evidence, we're told some inconclusiveness in regards to the weapon that was found in the possession of Hackworth and the bullet or weapon that was used to kill Mr. Allen not being an exact match per forensics, that a warranted bond reduction was requested. However, the judge took that under advisement and did not issue a bond reduction at that time. The Assistant Commonwealth's Attorney, Cameron Adams, argued that the bond should remain the same at $500,000 pending the trial, pending the indictment that was returned by a grand jury based on the evidence that they had brought before them. The judge did say she would review the request and matter and return a decision by 4 o'clock this afternoon. We do not have the decision as of yet. We expect to have an update on the bond reduction hearing in regards to the case of Daniel Hackworth sometime before the end of the week on tomorrow's show. I can also tell you before I go any further that there were several individuals in court today who changed their pleas originally from not guilty as they were to guilty in regards to the Operation Unite rounded up several weeks ago. Various recommended sentences were handed down with formal sentencing to take place later. Also some other guilty pleas and or verdicts in today's court proceedings. We'll cover those on tomorrow's program, as well as possibly indictments returned today by a McGoffin County Grand Jury. Going on, though, for tonight, your community calendar, brought to you by McGoffin Farm Bureau. A couple of birthdays, though, this Thursday, September 5th. Can you believe it's the 5th already? It's a birthday wish, though, for Richie Minix. Happy birthday, Richie. Love, friends, and family with a whole lot of love. Happy birthday today to Richie Minix. And I'm told to say happy birthday to Tyler Love with a whole lot of family and friends. And I'm thinking, yep, written right here in front of me, these two are cousins. celebrating their birthday today for Richie, tomorrow for Tyler. Happy birthday, Tyler and Richie. And what a day to cruise this Saturday at Sayersville City Hall. A great location, a great day, great deal of fun. The Licking River Cruisers Car Club, they're cruising this Saturday at Sayersville City Hall starting at 4 till they just cruise on out. It's going to be this Saturday the 7th. Free registration, 50/50, and other door prizes. They've got free dash plaques, a great location. It's all free. Bring your bike, your car, whatever you want to cruise down in or on, and join them. The Licking River Cruisers Car Club cruising in this Saturday starting at 4 at Sayersville City Hall. It's all free. Oh, and by the way, you can mark down October the 12th for the last cruise-in of 2013, also at Sayersville City Hall. The Storm of Praise free event, the second annual Storm of Praise Youth Fest and Cruising for Christ Bike and Car Show with live music, is this Saturday morning at 11. So I'm just now putting these two together, kind of. So venture on down at 11 to the IJ for their cruise in, and then at 4 o'clock, hey, you might want to go check out the other cruise in. This one, though, is hosted by There Is Hope Ministries. Bring your lawn chairs. They're going to have all sorts of entertainment. They're going to have all sorts of refreshments and food and games and prizes. And this is just a wonderful event for the whole family. So bring your little ones for some fun and games. And like I said, free food and refreshments. That's this Saturday starting at 11 that morning. Also this Saturday is a fun horse show down at the Morgan County Equestrian Park, hosted by the Elk Creek Free Will Baptist Church. Kids get in, 8 and under get in for free. Admission for everyone else is just $5. Also, what a day weather-wise we're going to have for this event as well as the others. And also a big yard sale at the Bradley Free Will Baptist Church. They're on Burning Fork, and they've got so much stuff. It's going to be inside and outside of the church starting Saturday morning at 9 o'clock. Also, don't forget the benefit this Sunday in honor of Mason Gamble. The benefit is hosted by the Bloomington Mountaineer Volunteer Fire Department. Gamble was injured while he was working on their new firehouse, and he incurred some pretty outstanding medical bills. So in order to help offset some of those costs, they're having entertainment and food and auction. Entertainers including the White Oak Boys, the Arnett Sisters, Vince and Gloria Caldwell, Paul Heiner and family, a soup bean dinner, hot dogs, drinks, cakes, and other items. If you can, join them and help support Mason Gamble through the Bloomington Mountaineer Volunteer Fire Department. That's Sunday, and it's once again at the Lloyd M. Hall Community Center starting at 3. That's all I've got in little calendar announcements at this hour. This is how you get them to us. If you got one that you would like to have on the program, remember they're always free. I do, however, have one at least partial funeral service announcement tonight, just forwarded to us on behalf of our sponsors at the McGoffin County Funeral Home. The McGoffin County Funeral Home advises me tonight that they have an incomplete listing right now as arrangements are still being made in honor of 33-year-old Joni Blaine Stevens Conley of Falcon, who passed away on today's date, the wife of Lloyd Conley and the daughter of Anna Mae Stevens and the late Louis Stevens. Funeral Home says arrangements are incomplete at this hour, but will be announced soon by the McGoffin County Funeral Home in honor of, once again, Joni Blaine Stevens Conley, 33, of Falcon.
Sayersville Nursing and Rehabilitation Center is proud to announce the newest members of our family, Administrator Lane Jones and our full-time chaplain Mark Campbell and volunteer Richard Green, new faces with the same sincere desire as these, to assist you and your family with short-term rehabilitation solutions or long-term nursing care needs, close to home and those that you love. Sayersville Nursing and Rehabilitation.
Faster, friendlier, family-owned Parkway Pharmacy, open 8:30 till 6:30 Monday through Friday in the new McGoffin Medical Plaza under the care of local pharmacist Jesse Rudd. To make Parkway Pharmacy your pharmacy, come by or give us a call at 349-4400.
Regardless of the project, big or small, inside or out, Bailey's Carpet has your next job covered with service after the sale on Husqvarna and Red Max power tools and equipment. You covered with great deals on boots and clothing by Georgia, Red Wing, and Carhartt, and your floors covered with premium materials at low prices from Bruce, Armstrong, and more at Bailey's Carpet and Hardware in Salyersville.
At the end of every race, Mark Martin hangs up his driving gloves. He hangs up his fire suit. And he hangs up his helmet. Which is why he picks up his phone and opens the ER Extra app. The app shows ER Extra wait times, locations, and more. It's the one safeguard Mark Martin is never without. ER Extra at Paul B. Hall Regional Medical Center. Extra fast, extra easy, extra great.
Let's do this. Can't believe my daughter wants to marry a Hatfield.
And I can't believe my son fell in love with a McCoy.
I got one thing to say. They're gonna have the wireless plan with the best service.
And I say they're gonna have the wireless plan with the biggest savings.
Daddy!
Hush up, Mary Beth.
Pa, stay out of this, Jonah.
We're done talking.
You got that right.
Better service.
Bigger savings.
Daddy, we've both got Appalachian Wireless. Better service.
Bigger savings.
That's today's Appalachian Wireless.
I think I just now realized I may have misspoke at the top of the program when I declared tomorrow night week 2 for most area high school football teams. That's not the case. It's going to be week 3 for most everyone. Johnson Central, who has only played one game thus far, has an off week, so they're going to be playing a little bit of catch-up. But for everyone else, indeed, it is the 3rd week for high school football, and that includes our own McGoffin County Hornets, who were, of course, hosting the Founders Bowl this past Friday night.
They were hosting Powell County, who came out and drew first blood, but the Hornets made good on their extra point after their first touchdown and took a relatively early lead in the first quarter, 7-6. Now, as Powell County turned things around, they turned McGoffin County down on a 20-7 lead at halftime, but the Hornets did make a comeback, and in fact, they tied it back up at 22-20 early in the fourth quarter. A late run from Powell County with a lot of opposition by the Hornets did prove to be fruitful, and the Powell County team won 28-20, the final score for the Founders Bowl. Now, after their initial win 48-8 over South Floyd in their home opener on the road, the McGoffin County Hornets are now at 1-1 on the season, and they're also on the road this Friday night. Now, they're traveling tomorrow night to Allen Central. Now, that game's set for 7:30 tomorrow night at Allen Central. We'll, of course, be keeping up with them and have an update for you on next week. But right now, the Hornets with a good start to a season. New coach Scotty McCoy at the helm. We'll be talking with him very soon. This video courtesy of our videographer, Zach Conley, as it was Founders Day, and he and I were splitting duties between the cabin and the football field. But we're anxious to get a take in some football. And with a daughter on the dance team, I'll be taking in all the home games from here on out. We hope you'll join us as well. And they'll be back here at home on the 13th, hosting Estill County. Now, keep in mind, only 4 home games, including that, for the rest of the season. So when you get a chance, you'll want to make sure that you're there. Now, for other area teams, we've also got some scores and times and dates for you. But first, a few stats on behalf of the McGoffin County Hornets provided by the coaching staff. Rushing yards, McGoffin County picked up 239 total rushing yards, with Patton leading the way at 94, Clay Elam coming in at 72, Jenkins at 73. As for receiving or passing yardage, 165 passing yards versus 239 rushing. Now, that is also going into total tackles, where it appears as though Josh Poe led with 10 total tackles. That's 4 tackles and 6 assists. Burton and Mullins coming up close behind with 6 total tackles thereafter. They have been putting and posting some good numbers, that being the McGoffin County Hornets, on, once again, a newly organized team, a lot of new staff, a lot of new players, and then, of course, anxious to see a new facility, hopefully by this time next year. But for now, we've got a nearly complete season that lies ahead.
Number 27, Clay Elam, in for the McGoffin County touchdown.
Fourth down. It's fourth down. Fourth down and 8.
So there you have it. McGoffin County fell to Powell County 28-20. Like I said, 1-1 on the season. As for Tiger football, head coach Joe Chirico, 22-14 win over Morgan County. That puts the Tigers at 2-0. That is a district game, 1-0 in the district. They're hosting Pikeville this Friday night, so Paintsville in action this Friday. The Johnson Central Golden Eagles and Coach Jim Matney, a big win over Holy Trinity in their first game. That was 67-7. A relatively easy win over Trinity. Now, they're off this week. They're hosting Perry Central next Friday, which, by the way, is the 13th, as the calendar tells us. And in Morgan County, lost to Paintsville, as we just covered, 14-21. That puts the Cougars at 1-1 on the still early season for everyone. They are in action this Friday night, and they're at home hosting Leslie County. You know, it doesn't happen very often when I get to turn to your Licking Valley RECC forecast that I can leave in a forecast that I had entered from the day before. It's always tweaked a degree or two, almost always. I'll say 95 or 99% of the time. Not necessarily the case for tomorrow. Humidity is really irrelevant. We've had 37% here at the newsroom. I did have 89 degrees for a daytime high today out in the sun. Around 87 at the 6 o'clock hour outside in front of the newsroom. And it's just gorgeous. It actually even feels maybe even a little nicer than that. Not that that's not nice. Tomorrow, check it out. Just as we had predicted yesterday per the National Weather Service, 81 degrees on your Friday. Sunny skies, clear tomorrow night, and a low right in the mid-50s. And guess what? No change for your Saturday either. 83 degrees, a low of 60 is still expected. Sunny, maybe a few clouds above late Saturday night, but pretty much mostly clear other than that. Nothing really to even worry about. Sunday's forecast is going to be updated with mostly sunny skies and a high of 85 still, but I suspect we're going to have a chance of some showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon of Sunday work in. Not a great chance, but I think by this time tomorrow we'll be talking about 20% or so as we will into next week. We'll work a 20%, I think, or 30% chance of showers and thunderstorms pretty much across the board. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week, we're going to be warming up to the 86, 87 degree range, but we're still going to be seeing sunshine each and every day until Thursday rolls around. Thursday of next week looks to be the next really good shot of some showers and thunderstorms and some cloud cover. Bottom line is tomorrow, your weekend, perfect. Only flirting with a small chance of some showers and thunderstorms Monday through Wednesday of next week, and we'll just leave Thursday